Look, I don't trust Uncle Joe. I know he loved Barack Obama, but that was after he called the man clean and articulate and was very surprised that a Harvard law graduate and a former state senator would be clean and articulate. He got away with that, and the challenge is that why does he keep getting a pass? He humiliated Anita Hill. Go back on a day when you're watching YouTube and watch the way that he talked to her in those hearings. That's who he actually is. The slip-ups that he has, we give him this credit for these sort of avuncular gaffes. He doesn't deserve that. And look, if Hillary Clinton didn't make it into office because people thought that she was untrustworthy because of her advocacy for many of the policies her husband signed into law in the 90s when she didn't have any political power, who do you think was the major architect of things like the crime bill? If she can't be in office, he certainly can't be in office. He will not save us.
Are you prepared to say tonight that you and President Obama made a mistake about deportations? Why should Latinos trust you?
We didn't lock people up in cages. We didn't separate families. We didn't do all of those things.
We didn't lock people up in cages.
Inside the walls of this facility along the Arizona-New Mexico border, at least 1,000 kids, some as young as elementary age.
We didn't lock people up in cages.
They huddle in foil blankets in a country not their own. Captured by Border Patrol agents, they came here illegally. Tens of thousands of unaccompanied minors hopping the border, fleeing Mexico, and point south.
Obama separated the children, by the way. Just so you understand, President Obama separated the children.
I don't believe we're a nation that thinks it's okay to put kids in cages on the border.
And the fake news doesn't want to remember the picture of a cage for children. And they said, President Trump. And then they realized that was in a newspaper, 2014, the same, built by Obama and Biden, the cages.
At the debate in Houston, you said that during the Obama-Biden administration, and I quote, we didn't lock people in cages.
We didn't lock people up in cages. We didn't separate families.
But you actually did.
Not one single so-called cage has been constructed by the Trump administration. Not one. Again, President Trump has not built a single cage. The cages you see in the news and on Twitter were constructed by President Obama's administration.
Oh, son of a bitch.
Where was the calls for violence and outrage from the left? This is the, again, Obama administration. This has been wrapping people in foil blankets behind cages, more foil blankets, more kids in detention. This is, again, the Obama administration. Where was the outrage? The outrage was nowhere to be found. More kids behind cages. There you go, folks. There's a little one. The Obama administration.
And folks, yes, we choose truth over lies.
I think this president has stoked racism. From the time he made a moral equivalence between those folks coming out of the fields in Charlottesville carrying torches and their veins bulging and carrying Nazi flags and accompanied by white supremacists, and a young girl gets killed, and he gets asked about it, he says there's a moral equivalence. They're good people on both sides. It matters what presidents say.
Is that what really happened?
That's exactly not what happened. And you can go and you can look up the full speech of what Trump said. He specifically said, I am not speaking about white supremacists or Nazis.
And you had people, and I'm not talking about the neo-Nazis and the white nationalists, because they should be condemned totally.
Not speaking about white supremacists or Nazis. So this is not a legitimate issue at all. And what's really bizarre is that Joe Biden, of all people, would use this as a way to launch his campaign. This is a man who was mentored by Robert Byrd, a literal KKK member.
And then these guys crawling out from under rocks with torches, and to not have an outright flat condemnation.
Because they should be condemned totally.
The inability to condemn hate.
After this confrontation between Biden and a reporter from conservative outlet Breitbart, Biden fighting back after the reporter claimed, incorrectly, Biden had misquoted the president after Charlottesville.
But he said specifically that he was condemning them.
He did not. He said he walked out and he said, let's get this straight.
We choose truth over lies.
I don't even think Trump's even acknowledged white supremacy. Did the president acknowledge white supremacy?
In one voice, our nation must condemn racism, bigotry, and white supremacy. There must be no tolerance for anti-Semitism in America or for any form of religious or racial hatred or prejudice. Love for America requires love for all of its people.
So if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, then you ain't black.
When we open our hearts to patriotism, there is no room for prejudice, no place for bigotry, and no tolerance for hate.
And I don't believe we're a nation that embraces white supremacy and hate groups, which is happening now.
Racism is evil, and those who cause violence in its name are criminals and thugs, including the KKK, neo-Nazis, white supremacists, and other hate groups that are repugnant to everything we hold dear as Americans.
We need people who are authentic, who don't bully or belittle other people. He's an idiot. A damn liar, man. That's not true. Press always asks me, don't I wish I were debating him? No, I wish we were in high school, I could take him behind the gym. Who don't bully or belittle other people. And I said, no. I said, if we were in high school, I'd take him behind the gym and beat the hell out of him.
Stop building and replacing pipelines.
You gotta go vote for somebody else.
All right, thanks so much, sir. We're going to have you here. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
I'm going to vote you in the general if you treat me
I
right.
know. Well, I'm not.
The first surprise is that Biden told Fallon to vote for someone else. And then he presses on Fallon's chest, pokes him with a finger, and finally grabs his jacket with two hands.
It was not appropriate interaction for anybody. I mean, if I'd done that to him, the security would have been all over me.
Who don't bully or belittle other people. You know what you said? Get your words straight, Jack.
Right this way,
Why attack Sanders? Why? You're getting nervous, man. Calm down. It's okay. We choose truth over lies. Trump's doing this because he knows I'll beat him like a drum. I'm going to beat this man like a drum. If I get the nomination, I will beat him like a drum. I can beat Trump. I can beat him. I will beat him like a drum. I'm prepared to say that I have a record of over 40 years and that I'm going to beat Joe Biden. Who treat people with dignity and respect. But look, here's the deal. Here's the deal. People who simply tell the truth.
Vote for Donald Trump. Yeah. Vote for Donald Trump. Yeah.
Well, you should vote for Trump. You should vote for Trump.
Vote for Donald Trump. Yeah. 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 Vote for Donald Trump.